Do you want to know how much a property is going to make in cash flow each month before you buy it, even if you're new in real estate? Most people screw this up, but if you watch, you will go from a newbie to somebody who is confident analyzing rental properties. I'm going to keep it simple and teach you everything you need to know. First, I'll give you the sources professionals use to know what their rent's going to be. Next, we'll go over estimating expenses, emphasizing the 3 expenses most investors get wrong: repairs, capital expenditures, and vacancy. With this knowledge, knowing your cash flow is simple. Let's start with the biggest mistake I see people make all the time when estimating their cash flow. Intentionally or unintentionally, most people are lying to themselves. Let's say your buddy Brad buys a house in DC for $400,000. He moves away after a few years, and now he rents it out. He tells you he's cash flowing $200 a month on that house in DC. Impressed, you ask him how he calculated that. Simple. He's getting $2,200 a month in rent, but his rent is only $2,000 a month. Boom! $200 cash flow. In your dreams, Brad. He only forgot most of the expenses: maintenance and repairs, capital expenditures, vacancy, property management, HOA, taxes, insurance. Give me an effing break. He is likely negative cash flowing at least $500, if not $1,000 a month. Let's learn how to calculate all these numbers correctly so you don't pull a Brad. Here's a very important formula. Rental income minus expenses equals cash flow. That's what we care about. We're going to learn all the aspects of this formula right now. Let's start with rental income. I want to show you how to calculate what your rental income will be from anywhere in the US with your smartphone. The best methods are Zillow and Rent-A-Meter. Let's use Zillow first. You're going to click onto the rent section, put the zip code of the area your property is in the search bar. You can further filter by bed and bath number. Your remaining results will be similar sized properties in the same zip code. You can also see what they look like inside, so you can get an idea of what will match your rental most closely. Backup plan, you can also use Rentometer or Rent-A-Meter. Who knows? I'm not really sure how to say it. On this website, you're going to toggle over to renter. That's the free part of the site. Enter the address of the property you're considering. Then, using what you saw in Zillow, estimate what you think the rents might be. Then enter beds and baths and click check my rent. It will give you something like this. You'll see average and median rents, and you'll see the location of the properties they pulled the info from on the map. So now you have a good idea what your rent will be. Back to our formula. Rent minus expenses equals cash flow. Remember Brad's big mistake earlier? He didn't know his expenses. You will, starting with maintenance and repairs. To simplify this, I'm going to refer to maintenance and repairs simply as repairs. There are several different methods to estimate what you'll spend on repairs. The best, in my humble opinion, is the 1.5x rule. If you are interested in looking at the other methods, watch my video on the link appearing above. Ooh, it's like magic. The 1.5x rule is simple. You should budget approximately 1.5 or 1.5 times the monthly rent for yearly repairs. $1,000 rent times 1.5 is $1,500. When you make broad estimates like this, you'll need to adjust based on the age and condition of your rental. Let's call a quote-unquote average rental a single-family home that is 20 to 40 years old. Being significantly older or newer than a quote-unquote average rental would mean that you would adjust this 1.5x estimate either up or down. It's not a perfect science, but let's say only 1 times the rent might work for a newly or recently renovated rental, and double the rent for much older properties. Let's now move on to capital expenditures. A capital expenditure happens when you need to replace an entire system in a property. By system, I mean large expensive items that get replaced after long periods of time. Examples of a system are new roof, heater and air conditioner, flooring, replacing all the windows, or a driveway. I'm showing a spreadsheet here I threw together that illustrates how to budget for these systems. The trick to calculating how much you'll need for capital expenditures is finding out the cost of a major system like HVAC, which is heater and air conditioner, how long in years it typically lasts, lifespan, and its current age in the rental property you're considering. Lifespan minus current age gives you remaining years you can expect to get from this system. Take the total cost divided by the remaining years. That's what you should be budgeting each year to eventually replace this item. Do that for every large system in your house. You'll have an accurate idea of how much to set aside. This sheet doesn't show everything, but it's got the important ones. A word about capital expenditures. These are different than repairs in 2 important ways. 1, capital expenditures are taxed differently. Repairs are deducted in the same year you make them, but capital expenditures are deducted spread across years, not all at once. The second difference, capital expenditures are, from an accountant's or business person's perspective, not considered in cash flow calculations. They are considered a reinvestment in your business. While that's important to an accountant, it's less important to you. You still need to make sure you've got that money in reserves to pay these bills when they come up. Most investors ignore capital expenditures. Ignore it at your own peril. You will end up needing this money whether you have it or not. Now, vacancy rate. People love to underestimate or totally ignore what their vacancy rates will be. I often see people estimate a 5% or less vacancy rate. I think 5% is pretty effing unlikely. What I see a lot with my vacancies is the following scenario. Lease ends at the end of the month and tenant moves out. We spend a week or so getting it rent ready for the next person and then getting it rented out again on the 1st of the following month. That's an entire month. It's hard to do it much faster. People want to move in on the 1st. If you're using a management company, the chances they will do it faster than this are very slim. Management companies sometimes miss that first month, and it might go 2 months or longer. It's sort of out of your control, especially if you're out of state. That being said, to find accurate vacancy rates, the best thing to do is ask other investors in that area. You can find them in local real estate groups. REIA, Real Estate Investment Association, is a great place to start. Google your city, REIA, and join. Also try Googling Real Estate Investing Group and your city. A lot of these groups have Facebook groups, so search there as well. Another place to go is BiggerPockets forums. The forums are set up by city and you can find other out-of-state investors there. Lastly, check with property management companies. You need to talk to them anyway because you need to vet them for potential future use. We just talked through repairs, capital expenditures, and vacancy. Those are the 3 tough expenses to estimate. And here are the more straightforward expenses that are easy to know but often get forgotten. Property tax. You can look up prior years of property tax paid online. Just Google property tax lookup and your city name and you'll figure it out. Keep in mind, the property taxes could go up the year after you buy, but you'll have an idea by seeing what it's been the last few years. Property insurance, local real estate investors should be able to tell you pretty close to what you'll pay for insurance. The best way to know, however, is to actually get a quote from someone. I like Geico or State Farm. Mortgage. You can calculate your mortgage with an online calculator. You'll need to know what kind of loan you're getting so you'll know what your interest rate will be and how many years for the loan and how much of a down payment. Often when you pay with a mortgage, they'll combine the property taxes and insurance into your mortgage payment. This is called escrow. You still need to figure all these numbers out separately so you can estimate the expenses. Okay, now we have everything we need to calculate cash flow properly. Rental income, check. Minus expenses, check. There's a lot of those. Equals cash flow. Make a good estimate with this method before you put in offers, and then get as much detail as you can once the property's under contract. That's when it's time to be accurate and when it needs to be for real. Hit that like button and subscribe with the notification bell. This feeds the algorithm. It also feeds my shallow eagle and allows me to reach and help more people. Here's some videos you should check out if you want to kick ass in real estate. Rich on Money, signing off.